Hello, ladies and gentlemen, those who have been keeping up with the incredibly unique work of fiction known as Chain of Memories and our adventures with Sora and Riku, waking up and having some burritos.
Yeah, you know.
We just recently decided to contact God himself. He goes by the name Mike Freney for right now. We'll see what his alias is sometime later. But the response was very interesting, and we thought that we would discuss and share our thoughts with you.
So let's start this with you read the email that you sent to him.
I will read the email I sent to him.
And then I will read the one that he responded with. How's that sound, everybody?
That sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. Sure.
Go ahead.
Does everybody have the email that he responded with? Okay.
Yeah, I got it pulled up.
Hello, Mr. Freney. I am a young writer and avid reader who has come across your book series, specifically the book simply titled Chain of Memories, and have been enjoying it greatly. However, I have many questions for the author of such a truly unique book. If you have the time at some point, I would deeply appreciate you answering a few of my questions. What were your inspirations? When was the book first written? How did your grandfather influence your fighting scenes? Why do you tend to avoid using words like he and she, and instead just refer to characters by their first names all the time? And I'm just curious on this one. Did Kingdom Hearts have any influences in the creation or design of this book? And was there any cut content from the book that was perhaps lost in editing the book? I am really interested in the characters Robin and Sarah specifically, as they seem to have a sordid and intensely interesting history with our main characters Sora and Riku. Thank you for reading. Please get back to me when you have the time to answer my questions. Sincerely, your fan.
All right, and here's what he responded with. She emailed him under a alias, I guess. Is the way to describe it?
I made an alias when I was 14 because I didn't want to put my real name on Gmail.
That's based.
Yes. So, Mike Freney responded about at what time did you send the email? I guess.
He responded within 3 hours, which was very quick.
Responded within 3 hours and responded.
Also, is it bad that I'm reading this email in the JFK voice?
I like your funny words, Sora man.
Hello, Alexa. First and foremost, I really appreciate your support and positivity. I'm very happy to answer your questions. For my inspiration is many things. It's a mix of watching movies and playing video games. My favorite were role-playing games, as I don't play much anymore. It started with a dream I had as a simple idea, and it kind of blossomed from there. My mind ran wild. I tried to have no limitations. You're the first person that has ever asked me that question. To be honest, it took me a moment to think about it. As for when I started writing the book, it was in 2006 when I had the dream and everything kind of took off there. As I wrote more, my books got better and more surprising. I watch movies and pull the stories apart to figure out how it was all done. Everything I write just comes to my mind. My imagination is my limit. Like Walt Disney always says, I guess this is kind of goes together, the inspiration in question. I don't think that's a Walt Disney quote. I'm going to be real.
I'll go fact check it in a moment.
My dog is still barking, but it's quieter this time, so I'll just keep reading.
I can't
My
hear it at
grandfather is a grandmaster of all styles of kung fu. He would always tell me stories of his youth. It was always about fighting the war, etc., which my books are like that. The main struggle between light and darkness. My grandpa was mistaken for Bruce Lee back in his youth, which is amazing. I like to avoid he and she as it is not very specific. I like writing the characters' names out for the readers, so when the readers read my books, they know which character I'm talking about. As the reader myself, it's what I look for. Of course, Kingdom Hearts is one of the best stories I've ever seen and influenced the first book, but not as much as the other ones after. Yes, there were some cuts throughout the book. It wasn't because I didn't have room for it all. It was cut because I didn't feel it needed to be in the book as my ideas changed and as the book developed more. Wow, that's interesting that you were interested in my two characters, Robin and Sarah. To be honest, they weren't really my favorite characters. They were very minor characters and they did have connections to Sora and Riku, but it wasn't a major one. She is getting louder. It wasn't done on purpose, but when I look back at my first book, the first part was very dark while the second part was lighter.
Alright, I'm fact checking the quote, by the way. So far, the only thing that's come close to it is, I can never stand still. I must explore and experiment. I'm never satisfied with my work. I resent the limitations of my own imagination.
I guess, yeah, that he would be thinking of that quote then.
Sort of, yeah. Interesting, though.
You know, just occurred to me. Are there, like, a whole set of characters that get through multiple books? Or do you think, like, every character just dies horribly at the end of every Freney
No,
book?
there definitely is. There definitely is. Like, there's definitely characters that continue on because, because Ursula Azur of the Ocean Rebirth includes characters that are from the series. But, like, there are, like, Sora does appear in, I think, the second book? Yeah, I think so. I think that's him?
I hope everything I said answered your questions. You're the first fan to have asked me all this. I really appreciate your support. I'm very glad you liked my first book. The series gets much better as the second series is far better than the first. I hope to continue your support. And open to more questions if you want to ask. Happy reading and enjoy the rest of your week too. Thank you. Sincerely, Mr. Freney.
What a legend. I like this man. He seems like a very happy man.
So he does. And I feel like this email really indirectly explains a lot of things about his writing.
I agree. So first things
For
first.
example...
Go ahead.
Okay, you go first. No, you go first. Suck my cock.
Well, first things first. Two things can be concluded. One, he probably doesn't speak English as a first language. Just because in his email here, he has really weird stuff with how he words some things. Secondly, well, I guess this is three things. Secondly, I'm sure it was his wife who helped to, grammar check a decent amount of the books, because the man who wrote this email doesn't feel exactly like the man who wrote the books. But the man who wrote this email...
To be fair, though, that first Chain of Memories book was written in 2014.
And he started it in 2006, according to this email. So.
It's been a long ride.
Yeah.
I'm very curious, though, because he says the second series is better than the first.
And I can see from reading the preview that was up on Amazon that it's better. It is indeed better written. That remains to be seen whether or not that translates to a decent novel.
I will get back to you on that. I'll let you know after we read Chain of Memories how Ursula Azur of the Ocean Rebirth is.
Yeah. Thirdly, if Mr. Freney is listening to this right now, I want to clarify, we mean literally zero offense with anything we say about the books. It is just so, like I said, it is a wholly unique series of books. I don't think there's anything else like them in existence.
I wouldn't have bought the whole series if I didn't enjoy them in some way.
Enthralled.
Yeah, like I own literally every single book.
I'd say enjoyment is an understatement at this point. I feel like I'm enthralled with this series.
I have every book. I have 8 books here. That's $160 plus shipping and handling.
It's a lengthy series.
Yeah, like I don't. Anytime we joke about what's going on, we don't mean that in like any kind of negative connotation. We just we don't. We want to give criticism, of course, but we also we genuinely are enjoying our time reading these books.
Yes.
Even if
we don't enjoy the book itself, we enjoy the content of the book, and it's not like we hate. It's not like we're suffering. Like, oh, this is the most boring, terrible thing I've ever written, because it's really fun to read.
Yeah, the greatest sin is making something boring, and Mike Freney has made the opposite of something boring. It is wonderful to enjoy.
I've even had, because I have a friend who listens to our podcast rather regularly, and they're pretty big into Kingdom Hearts. And I told them about the Chain of Memories thing, and they started listening to it. So I just want to take a moment to quickly just read one of the what they have sent to me. So they just sent me out of I think out of the blue. They sent me, "I'm dying. I want to listen to your podcast, but I'm still at work for about 30 minutes." And then she replied with, "20 minutes in and I'm dead. There is so much wrong and so easily a drinking game." But she agrees that it is a masterpiece.
Yeah. And it's really fun. It's a really fun book.
Yeah, like there's a difference between like a movie that's so bad it's good and a movie that's just like so bad. Like I can't sit through Godzilla 1998 because it's just not a good Godzilla movie. But like I will sit here and I will love the shit out of Godzilla vs. Megalon, even though that movie is the like bottom of the barrel in terms of Toho Godzilla movies.
I think the big thing I will literally praise Mike Freney for is he has a lot more dedication to his craft than most people I know.
Yeah, like there's 8 books. He's gone through 8
There's
books.
8 books, and it's not like these are it's not like this is a Stephen King novel. This is fucking unfathomably long books.
These are not they are not novellas. They are full-ass novels. It takes a fucking lot amount of like dedication to sit down and write for 5 books. Like this is like at least 2,000 plus pages for like one story, and now he's doing a 3rd series.
It's probably in the 3,000s, honestly. It's almost certainly in the 3,000s.
You have to keep in mind, he was the first. We were the first person to like ask him questions. He probably doesn't have like that big of like a fan base at the moment, but
we should all go review his books on Amazon just to get them that little bit of extra exposure.
Like, these books, like they're, I mean, would I say that they're like, you know, fucking peak of like the cream of the crop in terms of like actually masterpiece of like works? Like I would not say that these are on par with some of like the other more big name book series that people always talk about as being some of the best and you know in the industry, but like there is an enjoyment in reading it.
Oh, there's a huge enjoyment in reading it. I think honestly you could bring one of these books to a party and read it with friends, and it would be great. The only thing, and I will say this is a genuine criticism to Mr. Freney, and an admission on our part, none of us enjoy them for the same reasons I think Mr. Freney wants us to enjoy them.
Yeah.
And here's the biggest thing that I'll say if Mr. Freney ever listens to this. The first 10 chapters of the first book you made, Chain of Memories, could be an entire movie on its own. Straight up. But
his pacing is not very good.
Your pacing
I think we've said that on many.
is a fucking bullet train with a hyperdrive attached to it.
That's something I want to lead into with more of the email. Because I think there might be an explanation for that in the email. I talked to Matt about this a little bit when we got the email and we read it. But he says that he cut things from the book because he didn't feel it needed to be in the book. So what I think is the reason that the book's just so weirdly paced and it's so fast, like, is because I'm assuming what he did is he initially wrote out like in between scenes for like every fight just leads into another fight in this book. But I think what he did is he wrote it to be less like that, but he started taking out those scenes because he felt like what the book needed was to just tell the story. And what's the better way to tell the story by just getting from one fight to the next, you know? There is no downtime, because I think he might have removed the downtimes to get through the book more at a better pace from his
the
point of
Robin
view.
and Sarah thing. Maybe they did originally have something and he just decided he didn't like them, so he just cut all their stuffs out and then had their deaths.
Honestly, I feel like there was a whole section of them in the town. What, Michael?
I think my current theory is that the reason that we are like breezing past what's going on in the series is because his interest is actually lying in the new characters that he's introducing. Like
maybe, but I mean, I can't say that for
like,
sure because we don't know the pacing.
He gets to the point where like
those stories.
He doesn't want to remove like the backstory of Sora because I'm going to assume that like the new characters that are coming in are actually like children of Sora or whatever. Like he didn't want to remove the backstory, so what he did was he just sped through it at the first part so he can actually get to where the narrative is. Well, big air quotes narrative begins.
Maybe that's possible, but
that's the working theory I'm going through. Because why else would he make a series, like make a second series with characters that are from the first book? Like, why would he continue with using these characters if not because he actually like had more enjoyment writing?
Well, even then, a lot of those characters are named after or inspired by characters from other franchises.
But,
like we've got like Revan.
That's just
we've got
how
the Dot
things
Hack
work.
Characters.
Though. Like, I would be like lying if I couldn't just point to like any of my original characters and just be like, yeah, I know the inspirations immediately.
Yeah, but they're you don't like.
Well,
you don't have a character that's like this is my character Luke Skywalker.
But
he's inspired by the guy from the Star Wars.
I did have a
movies.
character who was literally just like, essentially what ended up happening was like I couldn't like post Shantae pictures because DeviantArt was getting massively axed through Shantae pictures for some reason. There was just a mass report. So what I did out of spite was literally make a genie character, and she had the resemblance of Shantae, and people like one person literally called her a dollar store Shantae. But it's not like, oh, I named.
But you didn't name her Shantae.
Okay, here's the difference. Here's the difference, Michael. You didn't make a published novel with that character, with your character named Shantae in it.
I suppose I can see that.
That is the
point.
difference.
My thing is just they are names, but like there's also the point of like Riku and Sora's arc are essentially the same as in Kingdom Hearts, and then there's like Nadatachi and Shadow, and he's in there, and the Legendary Eyes.
So,
and
Sora is Kingdom Hearts Sora, and also Sasuke.
Yeah, like you can
mention him
directly see the parallels in the story.
Yeah, it's. I'll be honest, it's not really parallels. It's
yeah, it's not homaging. It's not like I was trying to capture this. No, it's just straight up rip. Like we've read
the Legendary Eyes
directly lifted Kingdom Hearts lines that he recreated. But
not lines, entire dialogues.
Yeah, but it's almost like he didn't understand the purpose of those moments in the first place because they don't work in this new situation. Like with the Sora replica, someone we only knew for 2 chapters.
And like I said, maybe there was more to that character, and he just decided he didn't need it and just got rid of it. You know?
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's a lot of things that end up going onto the cutting room floor. Speaking from experience here, but like, it's a little shocking just how much stuff has been just removed. If there's like, you know, if that's the case, where like this is like actually supposed to be 2 different books, but most of it was just axed.
And
I wonder what the decision was to make Chain of Memories like 2 books in one. And I wonder if the other books are like that.
Maybe.
I don't think they are. I can't remember.
I want to say they aren't. I don't think that they're gonna end up being the same way, where it's like 2 different books. But I don't know just yet because I haven't really cracked open the other 4 books in the series.
Yeah, I would like to throw in my few cents on the Free debacle, since I haven't really pointed out something yet. So what I was gonna say is that because we're at least on my opinion on the background of Mike Freney, especially with like his grandfather, who apparently knew kung fu and at least fought in a war. I'm thinking that his grandpa probably fought in World War II, Japanese American. Mike Freney's a few generation American. I mean, I don't know. Maybe his family moved back to Japan or something. Well, we don't know exactly. He might have been Chinese. Who knows? But the last name doesn't sound Asian to me. But things can happen. People's names can change. He might not just be like. It sounds weird to say, but pure blood Asian.
I do want to say, there is a very small number of Japanese Americans who fought in World War II. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, he could have been from Japan and moved to America.
Yeah, it could be that he's I think he's a first or second
Kung
generation.
Fu is also kind of part of, I believe, Chinese. So he could be from
Bruce Lee was...
Kung Fu is a Chinese art.
Okay, but would you say that Americans are smart enough to tell the difference between the different Asian races?
No.
Exactly.
Right, but it's, his grandfather was confused for Bruce Lee. He says that in the email,
and
which suggests to me that unless his grandfather literally made that up, which I don't want to accuse his grandfather of that, then his grandfather had to have at least had a passing resemblance to a very generic Asian middle-aged man appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And looking it up, 33,000 Japanese Americans served in the U.S. military during World War II.
So
only 800 of them were killed in action.
That's a very small number.
Anyhow, I'm very interested in learning more about Mr. Freney. We'll probably have some more questions for him at some point as we discover more about him.
And I'll also say that him saying his inspiration is a mix of watching movies and playing video games. I mean, that this was written in 2006, which if we are going on the assumption, minimum that Mike Freney is 30. Let's say he's at a range of like 30 to 39 at the moment. Like minimum age he started writing this was 16. So he either started this when he was a teenager or when he was a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
And it was complete. This book came out in 2014, right?
I believe so.
Which makes me wonder how the second part will compare to the first part, because he mentioned like, oh yeah, the first part I started out super dark, and I started out super light. I don't know, maybe Mike Freney was like in his edgy phase when he was 16, and he was like, yeah, all these characters are gonna die. Oh my god, a pole's gonna come and impale what was her name?
Who?
Who got killed in that last chapter? The gate fell on her.
I like how... No, not Kai. It was like Azuki.
Akiza?
Akiza. Yeah,
my first response wasn't Akiza. It was fucking like Xanax or something like that.
Who are you talking about?
Zen?
Yeah, my first response was not fucking Akiza. It was Xanax. Because I was like, that sounds like a name that somebody would use. But that's a drug.
I'm gonna have to make another email for Mr. Freney at some point. This is just too interesting to not do it. Also, before anybody asks, if anybody ever wants to ask, no, I don't think we should give out Mike Freney's email. Particularly since... Yeah.
I would never recommend that. I would say if I had a question to ask Mr. Freney, I guess I would ask, why exactly is this first part so dark? Like, what were you going for here, and why did you just start to lighten up?
Well, I've read ahead, and I know why it's dark. I think it's just because he decided it should be dark, though, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, but there's got to be a reason behind that. Like, when he started writing it. Like,
you mean like a personal reason of his?
Yeah, like what? Yeah, like what
were you going
obviously
through?
He's going for a more serious tone, but we're at the level of grimdark where we only have two characters that are like, you know, our two Sora and Riku. Everyone else is dead.
Well, we don't know about Angel. We don't know about Angel.
yeah, Angel obviously, but
out of the main characters that we have stayed with from the beginning,
sure Sora nails Angel.
Sora
so
and
I'm pretty sure she's alive.
Well, we don't know that yet, but Sora and Riku are like the only two characters from the beginning of the novel to still be alive. And we don't know anything. We don't know where Angel is, why she's like in Sora or whatever, and not a gay way though. And like all these characters are just getting introduced and then casually just killed off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it sounds like Sora and Riku are gonna go throw some death waves and impale people.
Oh yeah, and a wave of light and clashing swords and gut punches.
Because it's also, yeah, I guess it's got that like teenage edge, because it's like Riku destroyed Robin utterly, Sora impaled her through the chest, the life left her eyes and she fell to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sure was tiresome. Ain't that right, Riku?
Yeah, we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thanks for listening to the tiny episode. We will see you guys in the next one.